Hello class, my name is Matthew Perez and this is my week 4 multimedia discussion for MPA 593 titled Body Language Tips. So let's begin. A future job that I'm interested in is an Administrative Services Manager, and this job's duties are similar to the elements that Luther Gulick created when he developed the acronym POSCORB. So all the functions within POSCORB are pretty much functions that an Administrative Services Manager would be responsible for. Some helpful resources that you can use to learn more about body language for administrative services managers is through the CVU library web portal. I was able to find 2 scholarly articles, and then I was also able to find a couple articles on monsters.com, and I was able to find another article on Forbes in which they provided a list of the top body language do's and don'ts. So those are pretty helpful to learn when focusing on a management type position in government. Now let's begin discussing the 5 body language tips that can be helpful for someone who's not familiar with body language and that's interested in becoming an administrative services manager in the government field and that's going to do an interview either in person or online. The first body language tip is to make sure you have a genuine smile. This is something where you don't want to over smile, but you don't also want to make sure you're not smiling at all. You got to find a genuine smile that looks natural. The second body language tip is to make sure you provide eye contact to every person in the room during your interview. Regardless if the interview is done in person or online, having eye contact is critical, ensuring that you care about this position that you're applying for, and you also want to make sure you're not using too much eye contact and you're not providing poor eye contact as well. The third body language type that can be used in an in-person or online interview is to make sure you plant your feet during your interview. This will help you show that you're confident in your responses. Having your feet planted during your interview will help show that you are confident with your responses. The fourth body language type that can be useful in an interview for a manager online or in person is to make sure you look natural. Having a lack of facial expressions or being out of control with your hand gestures and clicking pins, it does not look natural and can show that you're nervous for the interview. The fifth body language tip that can be used for managers in an interview that's in person or online is to make sure you're confident, but you're not too confident, because this can look like you're overly aggressive, such as being too relaxed or having a poor posture and stance are all indicators of being too aggressive. Additional tip that can be helpful for either online or in-person interviews is just to record yourself. That way you can see your body language during the responses. Oftentimes you do stuff that you're not realizing that you're doing when you're talking, and this can be a helpful tip for everyone, regardless if you're interviewing online or in person. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you all have a great week. Here's my list of references as well.